Learning how to improve at Apex Legends. It's not easy, which is exactly why I'm here to give you a bunch of tips and tricks that I've learned on my road to Apex Predator to help you get better as fast as possible. For some players, improvement will be just learning all of the Legends' different abilities.
Shut up, skin suit. I'm the most overpowered legend. I can silence enemies and have a totem.
That's cute. I was nerfed 13 times in the first season I was out. Don't feel bad, brother, but I've got fortified perk, I've got an arm shield, a bubble shield, look at this. I've also got a bombardment, and I can revive quickly.
Yeah, but I can fly, and I can shoot missiles. Neither of you can do that.
Hey guys, I can shoot decoys. Pretty cool, right? Shocked into silence, I know, right? You can talk now, guys. Which brings us nicely onto our first tip. Now, as we all know, it's pretty normal in Apex to have a main legend. Wraith mains, I'm looking at you. And having a main legend is totally normal and totally fine. I mean, who doesn't have a favorite legend in Apex? It's pretty normal to like one character more than the rest, right? But playing and learning different legends can have more benefits than you might have originally thought. And no, it's not just for learning their abilities. Now let's be honest, we're not all gonna enjoy running around as Caustic or Gibraltar and getting lasered from 10 miles away. I mean, it happens more than you'd think, and for good reason. They're pretty big boys. But what we can learn through playing other characters is how exactly these legends play and feel in-game, and you're going to get a really good feel for how a Caustic thinks, how a Gibraltar thinks, how a Wraith thinks. They all think differently because obviously they have different abilities at their disposal. They're all different heights, and they all have different pros and cons they have to take into consideration in every fighting scenario. Better understanding the different legends and how they have to go about their fights is going to allow you to better predict how these legends are likely to react when you're fighting them as your favorite character. Being able to predict the plays your enemies are going to make before they've even made them, just because you know what they're likely to do based off of the legend they're playing, is a huge advantage to have, and there's no better way to experience and learn the different kind of characteristics that these legends have and the different way that they play than playing them yourself. Aside from this, another reason that playing different legends is a really good idea is because it's actually going to help improve your aim. Now I know you're sat there thinking,
Ashton, how is playing Caustic going to improve my aim? What are you talking about?
and the answer to that is way more simple than you probably think. So as we know, all the different characters in Apex have different hitboxes. This makes them easier to hit or harder to hit depending on how tall they are or how large they are. But the effect this also has is that if you're playing a taller legend, you're obviously a lot more elevated than a Wraith or a Lifeline, and you have to adjust your aim for that. It's easy to get a muscle memory of where to aim and where to shoot to get those headshots and big damage body shots in there, but this can often lead to you getting caught in the wrong frame of mind where you're not actually thinking too much about where you're shooting, you're just shooting in the same general direction because you're so used to it because of your character's height. Playing a taller character, for example, means you're going to have to adjust your aim just slightly when aiming at those smaller characters, and this can make a big difference. Now, being a long, tall boy has its advantages in itself. I mean, sometimes the taller characters have access to head glitches and cover that the smaller characters, they just can't peek their little heads over. Knowing information like this can be the difference between winning a fight and losing a fight because you can predict if a taller character is going to be able to play a piece of cover or not. But let's just move away from talking about the long boys and the thick boys for a second. We're in Season 10. The scan meta is all the rave right now. There's a high chance you're a Bloodhound player or you're a Seer player. And I have a few tips to talk to you about those scanning legends. So if you are a Bloodhound or a Seer main, you might not want to hear this, but there's a good reason behind what I'm about to say. It's better if you don't play with a scan legend in Apex Legends, and the reason behind that is quite simple. Good players in Apex Legends have a fantastic sense of awareness about what's around them, above them, below them, everything going on. They're going to know exactly where and how it's happening. You build up this sense of awareness just through hours of playing the game over and over again, learning what the different sounds are, what a fight sounds like, learning to read the kill feed, learning the different footstep audio. It takes time, but you learn this over time, and you become a better player and become able to read the game better. Now what scanning legends do is they essentially give you this information for free at the click of a button. While that's good in some ways because obviously it can be a really useful ability, it also takes away from that aspect of learning game sense and awareness for yourself without the use of abilities. Now I'm not sat here saying that you can't learn game sense and awareness as Bloodhound or Seer, of course you can, but it is probably going to take you a little bit longer because you have those wallhack abilities to fall back on, and sometimes you don't really have to do much of the thinking for yourself, you can just let the scan do the work for you. Having a legend with movement abilities, for example, can really help you learn how to move around the map better and navigate different buildings and different areas and be more aggressive or defensive. However, having a scan ability, it's just giving you that information for free that you don't necessarily need it to give you that. You can work out most of the time where people are just by using your own intuition. Wait, who's that? Is that the Bloodhound main?
My teammates suck!
Oh, it's the solo queue warlords. Yes, you solo queue players have it tough. I know, I've been one of you lately. But I've actually really enjoyed my time playing solo queue, and I think I've worked out how to enjoy it in the best way possible. Now from the people I've spoken to about playing solo, they all say the same thing. Duos, it's boring, it's too easy. If you're an adept player or better at Apex Legends, more likely than not you're going to be able to handle yourself in 2v2 situations. Obviously this doesn't apply to everyone. I mean, there are going to be players out there who just aren't confident in their team fights or are new to the game. For those players, I do recommend just stick to duos. It's way more manageable, it's way less hectic, and you can focus on winning your 1v1s a lot more easily and without the worry of having to fight multiple people at once. But for those of you who have got a grasp of the game in general, I would recommend no-filling duos. It's going to put you in multiple 2v1 scenarios, and for the most part, 2v1s should be very winnable to any decent Apex Legends player. 1v3s are a completely different story, but 2v1s, as soon as you've got the first knock, you're in a 1v1, which of course is extremely winnable. I find that no-filling duos makes me play my life a lot better. It means I'm not necessarily going to be pushing things that I shouldn't be because I know I've got no teammate there to back me up. Every fight you do take, as I say, is extremely winnable, and you have more time and space to play different cover and use your movement techniques in order to navigate the map because you haven't got 3 people hunting you down, it's just 2. Playing no-fill duos is also going to give you a better chance at isolating your enemies into 1v1s, and learning how to isolate enemies into 1v1s is an extremely useful tip to learn in Apex, so I highly recommend no-fill duos if you're solo queuing and you don't want to have any teammates. But if you're a gamer like me and you prefer trios like all of the chads out there, then I would highly recommend just fill your teammates if you're playing trios, or better yet, duo queue trios with a friend. Now I know it's great to go on YouTube and watch all of the pro players no-fill trios and get 7k damage and 25 kills, but what you don't see is the countless amount of games they have to go through of pain and suffering of no-filling and getting run down by 3 stacks in order to get that one good game. Sure, learning to 1v3 is a very important skill to know how to do in Apex Legends. I mean, the core game is a trios mode after all, and being able to 1v3 is a great skill to know. But this is going to require a lot of patience and a lot of time invested into the game. I mean, pro players and content creators, we have thousands of hours on this game, and more often than not, we can't even get it right, so for the average player, that's going to be very, very difficult. Having your teammates there to back you up if something goes wrong, or just to distract different enemies while you take a 1v1, can make all the difference in enjoying solo queuing. Don't put yourself through the torture of no-filling trios all the time, because although it feels great when it goes right, it doesn't go right very often. I also wanted to talk about processing information. I swear, this is Apex related, it's not like some kind of office job or something. I'm always seeing my random teammates take 1v1s with enemies despite knowing that the rest of the team are very close. Excuse me? Do you not literally see the Wraith back there? I mean, are you just going to ignore her? You're just going to... And she shot you in the back. Very good, well done. So often in Apex, players will see enemies, but they won't quite process that information in their head quick enough, and they'll take a 1v1 because, oh, immediate danger, there's an enemy in front of me. What you should do in this situation is always try and apply all of the knowledge that you have of the scenario to your fight. You need to be able to distinguish what fights you can take and what fights you can't take based off of the information that you have. Even when you don't think you have information, for example, you've seen one enemy, but that's it. You still have more information than you might think. Just apply the rule of if there's one enemy, there are 3 enemies to every scenario. That's going to help you win your fights a lot better because you're not running the risk of running around thinking, is it a solo? Is it a duo? Just always assume it's a full team. That way, you're not going to be making the mistake of running into enemies that you didn't know were there. If you made it this far into the video, comment down below, Loba's Looty makes my gun shooty. Guys, take it easy, have a good one, it's been Ashton. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.